Okay, so another question on the test has to do with exporting. So I'm going to go through a quick explanation of exporting in case there's still people that are still trying to figure that part out. But also I'm going to go into specifically what they ask you to do on the test. So when you're done with your edit, which we are right here, and you're ready to export it, you have to create a QuickTime movie to send out so that people have something to watch, because you can't send out your Adobe Premiere project file, and because you know that you need Adobe Premiere to open that project file. And even if they have Adobe Premiere, the video that you have contained inside that Adobe Premiere project is on your computer, not that person. So the video footage does not attach itself to the project and travel with it, because, you know, video files are so big, so large, that it's just impractical. So when you're done with your project, when you're done with your editing your sequence, there's a couple of things you can do to export. The first thing you can do always is come to these drop-down menus up here at the top left of your screen, the Premiere Pro drop-downs. You can always come to File, Export, Media. Okay, and when you do that, it opens up this window that has all your different options. And for our purposes, most of the time here at Lake Minneola, we are going to export an H.264 format, and most of the time you're going to default to match the source high bit rate, which basically says whatever quality your original footage was. So if you shot it on our cameras, it's going to match that quality. If you shot it on your iPhone, it's going to match that quality. So it has to do with resolution and export video quality, stuff like that. So just in general, you just need to remember that most of the time you're going to export an H.264 file, and you're going to do your best to match the source at a high bit rate. Okay. You also want to double check that your video option is selected and your audio option is selected. If you uncheck one of these, if you uncheck video, it'll export only the audio. Sometimes people might want that. If you uncheck audio, it will export only the video. Down here are a lot of other things. They may ask you on a test, hey, export using maximum render quality. Make sure that's checked or unchecked. And you just have to know, if they're asking you anything to do with exporting, it's going to be in this export media window here, right? That pops up when you export. Click to export media. For our purposes, almost always we're only going to need to check these things. And then once you do that, you click on the blue text right there, and you name your file. HNN show, and then you pick the folder you need it to go into, because if you just export it randomly, it's going to go to wherever the last person who exported something on this computer sent it to. So it might be going to somebody's folder and you have no idea who it is. You need to tell your project where you want that video to export. So for now, we're going to go to the Beckmeyer folder, and we're just going to pick the HNN folder. Okay, and then you'd hit save. And then once you do that, you can see that it changed the name to whatever we changed it to just now, and then you hit export. And once you do that, this little window, this little dialog box pops up, and it tells you how much long you have for your export. Okay, since I don't really need to export that right now, I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to show you the other way you can export, which is a keyboard shortcut. Command M. Command M will bring up the same dialog box as going to File, Export, Media, okay? And then you take all the same exact steps. Okay, now, those things were for if you're wanting to export your entire timeline, okay? But on the test, they ask you, hey, go to 38 seconds or 35 seconds into your sequence, and your sequence is here in your timeline. It's the thing that you that contains all of your edits, right? They'll say something like, go to 34 seconds in the timeline and export from 34 seconds to 50 seconds. So to do that, you would do just like you would if you were editing a source. So if you're up here editing a source video and you set your in point to select what part of the clip you drop down into the timeline and your out point, like that. You can see the little blue in point and out point markers. To do that in the timeline, you do basically the same thing. So if you come here, let's say we want to do from this point right here. Okay, so you would click the mark in thing, and you can see where it sort of grays out the area that's selected. And if you want to export from there to just pick a point right there, you would then set your out point. Okay, so now when you export your video, it is only going to export the sections you have selected. So from whatever that was, from 3820 here to the end of this clip. It's only going to export that. And that's very helpful because maybe you just want to send someone a 2-minute section of your video for them to look at. Hey, what do you think about this new section? Give me some feedback. Instead of having to export if it's a whole 2-hour movie or 30-minute show and you only want them to look at the 2 minutes. It takes a lot less time to export if you're only exporting a couple of seconds or a couple minutes. It's a lot easier to transfer the video off to somebody for them to look at. It just saves time. So think about that. That'll pop up on the test. They'll probably ask you to export from the end of the such and such clip, and you can tell the name of the clip right here. From the end of this clip to the beginning of the next clip, and set that for export. And then all you would do is the same thing you would do if you were exporting something. You come File, Export Media, and it just knows that when you've set an in and out point in the timeline like that, that it knows that you intend to only export that. It happens every now and then on accident, like it happens to all of us on accident, where you accidentally get in and out points set in the timeline and you don't realize that you export it, and then you only get like 30 seconds of your whole sequence because you accidentally had your in and out points set. So if you ever need to clear the in and out points in your timeline so you can export the whole thing, you just right click inside the in and out points and you can come to clear in and out, and it removes those and you're back to normal. Okay, that's selecting in and outs in the timeline for exporting purposes. That's it for now. Come back again. We'll see you on the next video.